We'll see how that works. All right. Talking about fibs first. Who understands fibs? Like, does anyone understand how they come around?
Fibonacci ratio.
Yeah. Do you know how to explain it?
Didn't you find recurring patterns in different nature, different things in nature, and then apply
Like your
mathematics to
human
it?
body? Yeah. Yeah, your whole body is proportionate 618 and 1618. Did you guys know that?
No.
So yeah, when he did work on that, he took basically your whole arm and you divide it in two sections, right where your elbow is, from your shoulder to your arm, 61.8. The whole other extension is 1618. And basically your face, everything literally falls into the Fibonacci cycle itself. I mean, there's a ton. If you go on YouTube and you type in Fibonacci retracements, like in life, and you'll see some crazy stuff. You might even fall in love with it. With that being said, how many people use fibs for any day trading?
I mean, I do sometimes. Probably not as much as I should.
Like ARBs, they use fibs as well.
I'm sorry?
ARBs, like they use fibs.
Yes, our orbs use fibs, correct? Does anyone know how they're derived? The orb fibs?
Yeah, based off the high at 10 a.m.
Yep. So it's from 9:30, right, from here to 10 a.m. Right here. Well, maybe what the hell? Right here. So between these two, the fibs are taken, right? And then you're basically getting the targets for the upside. And then also you get the targets for the downside here. And in between we have some other numbers, right? We keep the 50, the 127 is there, 1618, the 2227, right? So let me ask you guys a question, since you guys understand it. Which of these numbers is a real fib? Like real fib ratio?
618.
What else? Is that it?
I think so, because free number, if you divide by the previous numbers, same ratio comes out.
Okay. But how much is 144 divided by 55? Anyone?
2.61.
Okay. Is that a ratio?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a ratio, guys. So basically, the Fibonacci is that you add every subsequent number to its total, and then you get the numbers, right? You get them in line. So like, you'll have 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then you'll keep going. I guess it'll be 8 plus 5, 13, 13 plus 8, 21, and so on. And you keep going, and then you start dividing those numbers. 1 divided by 1, 2 divided by 1, 3 divided by 2, and so on. And then you get to a number that everything kind of evolves, and you'll see that 618, fairly important number. So when you use trading, let's say you can use it on any time frame. A lot of people make a mistake when they will chart fibs on the weekly chart, and then they'll day trade. And I had people do this. One of the guys way back when I mentored him, I explained to him the fibs pretty much I'm explaining to you. So if any of you guys chart on the weekly chart and you send me a message and ask me, hey, Shorty, but none of these fibs are close to my levels. Why are they so far? I will not respond to you ever again. Is that fair? Do not chart weekly and monthly and ask me why the 1 minute chart's not close to any of these levels. If I was to do this, right? If I go from here and, I mean, it might not get here for a while. It might come once in 2 months, once in 6 weeks, but don't expect it to be there, So Yeah, please don't be that guy. So when you look at fibs, right? If you start looking at stuff on a weekly, these are what I call kind of the king fibs. Once you have the king fibs like this, then you want to try to find major support levels. So when you're in an uptrend, where should you grab? From high to low or low to high?
Low to high.
How about everybody writes their answer in Discord? I just want to see who. Just say low to high. If I'm in an uptrend, what do I want? High to low or low to high?
No, sorry.
You want
Oh, no, don't.
levels or
Just
up?
write down. I just want to see who knows. Good. Okay. So I would say 90% of you guys are aware of it. I don't know if it was long enough in this Discord or whatnot, but when you're in an uptrend, what are you looking for? What are we looking for when we're in the uptrend?
Straighten.
But you're looking for an entry, right? You want to get in somewhere. Somebody go on mute, guys. Your Discord or something is blowing up. So when you're in an uptrend, we're looking for a nice uptrend to see if there's a major support, right, where we can get in. So if you think about this, right, on the weekly since March 20th, if we were to grab that low and go all the way to the top, well, there are the fibs that I care about. If you have more than 5 fibs, not being sarcastic here, you should probably relook at your fibs a little bit. Not all of these fibs are fibs. Is 50% a fib?
No.
No. Is 100% a fib?
No.
No.
No, those are just half ratios. You don't even have to use them, right? The only reason why 50 is used, does anyone know?
Retail.
I knew that was going to be one of the answer. Who else? Anyone? I mean, it's not a ratio. Why are you including in the fib ratios?
It's the midpoint, maybe.
It's the midpoint of a cycle. It's not so much the retail, but the retail sometimes doesn't understand how fibs are derived. So the 50% sounds good because it's halfway of the uptrend. So it is retail, but due to laziness of not understanding the probabilities and where it hits. So if you're in an uptrend, here's a trick question, or maybe not for some of you. If you're in an uptrend, where would the strongest uptrend bounce? At what level? From these levels?
618.
Come on, write it down. I want to see it. I want to see you guys write it down. Don't tell me because I want to put the face, the name, and the answer together. In the strongest uptrend, we're expecting the bounce. Majority said 61.8. Okay. 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 All of you guys are wrong. Only Keela's correct. Do you guys know why you're wrong?
Is it 195 because it has more? It's hit on that level more.
Guys,
It's a strong uptrend.
I said strong uptrend. If you're in a strong uptrend, should you be making lower lows?
Nope.
Strong uptrends don't allow for a lower low because then it's what?
A trick question.
It's a
But I'm
downtrend if you make lower lows.
full. I didn't say anything else about lower highs. It's a trick question, right? So it depends where the lower highs were. If you're making lower lows, it could be some kind of crazy spike where you have that. You made a higher high, and this is the first low. You're not in an uptrend, but you're not even in a downtrend, right? Because you have a higher high and a lower low. So it was a trick question, right? You needed to know a little bit more information. So if you're in a strong uptrend, you should bounce to the closest fib that's available for support. And if you guys look, for instance, when we did this here, so obviously these fibs, they got respected, but look at the respect here at 50% fib. You guys see this? They came and a perfect rejection, right? Then they came here, you guys see it, they reclaimed it, and here comes another. This, if I was to go on smaller time frame, would look like what?
They probably have a bunch of taps.
They had a bunch of taps here, and then they got pushed down. The candle got closed right below it. So when you're in an uptrend, I don't want to go in a strong uptrend. I don't want you to go below 38.2. If you go below 38.2, the odds increase that the trend is doing what?
Reversing.
It's weakening, right? So now, you know, when you think about, you know, higher lows and higher highs, if this is the higher low, higher low, higher low, I would say maybe this is another higher low here and kind of stops there. Once you lost this level, you already had put in some lower highs. You're kind of reversing the trend here whenever this happened, December 20th. This is where the trend was really started reversing. Then when you broke the 38.2, it was giving you heads up the probabilities increase of the next levels being hit. And like you guys said, you know, if the trend is picking up steam and reversal, what Drew just said, these numbers, 6818 becomes a really, really strong magnet for everything, because everything comes back to it at some point to this level. So strong uptrends, you expect the first fib low to high in uptrends, and then downtrends is what? High to low.
Right below.
Yep. So now, if I wanted to know, you know, this is my weekly time frame. You can mark these levels as different color or call them, you know, king fibs or something. Put kind of name so you know that these levels you might not see on 3-minute candles for a while. Okay, like it would take a long time to, you know, $28 for NVIDIA to get there so you can see it. Because if I go on 3 minutes, that level, you know, look how much I scroll to get it.
Wow.
Yeah, so don't do that. Okay, so now if I have these levels, I'm aware of it, right? These would be labeled for me weekly or monthly or king, whatever you want to call them. There's no name to it. But now if you want to grab a swing, right? You know, swing high to swing low, the most recent one, you know, do I pick it from here or where do I pick it? Do I pick from here to here or where does it go? Is it from here?
Most recent.
Okay, so which one? If I want to know where this cycle might reject, what's my best fib?
At that 140-ish level with the big wick.
Ah, okay, good. I was trying to bait somebody here. So if I grab it from here to here, I'm looking for a more realistic timeline because this is the most recent, right? So this started on 21st September, so 2 weeks. So these fibs are most recent in the memory of the stock market. Then, I mean, not to say that I can't do this. Can I not do this? Can I do this? Am I allowed to do this? What I just did, I grabbed from high here to low here. Can I do that?
Yeah.
What's that called? Mateo, don't answer. It's called what? Drew, what's it called? Ah, Karthik, he knows. It's called fib clusters. I mentioned it in one of the classes when I did. I don't know who was here,
Sorry,
but I
was
said
muted.
we had fib clusters, right? So you can do multiple, you know. So if I look at this right now, I can grab it from here to here. As long as my what stays the same, I can do this.
Low.
You're low.
My low has to stay the same at all times. So now I'm just heading, you know, I can add this one. Okay, and what do you guys see? So let me go like on daily chart.
Looks like the higher up you are, the more looks like the price is respecting the fibs a bit more.
Yep. Well, yeah, because we didn't grab as many here, and we can do that because we're on a daily. Now we're on daily. We're on the higher, so you could have this one, and then we have one more. And we grab that one. So this one. Okay. So all of these are grabbed. I don't know about this. We could grab this maybe. Okay. So here's levels now. So where do you guys see a lot of stacking, meaning multiple levels together?
Right at the bottom and in the middle.
So bottom is going to be loaded. Probably all of these levels here that we just took, 38.2 is going to be there, right? So this one is stacked here. Yeah, it's building, right? So there's a lot of support the closer the lines you draw. But then when you look at some certain levels, you know, some like this one point out here, you guys see it?
Yeah.
You know, there's multiple colors tapping each other. Then you have this little zone here. And this might look cool if it's correctly labeled and stuff. You guys might like this. And then, of course, there's a cluster here. And you guys see that there's a lot of candles here too, right? Okay. So what do you guys think would happen if we were to draw from here to here, if we were to draw volume profile? What would you guys expect it to look like? Tell me the heavy zones, high volume nodes.
Right
At
there.
that thick line,
160.
Sorry, go ahead.
at the thicker lines, you would see the volume nodes from the volume profile, like where
Wait.
you have the
Low volume
thick-
nodes or high volume nodes?
high volume nodes.
Okay. Okay, where would
You
you
have more
expect to be
confluence
the
there.
skinny bellies?
Where there's no lines.
Okay. You guys ready to see it?
Yep. It's gonna be right on the money.
Hold on, what happened? Did I grab a line or?
You did another fib.
You
Yeah, I
did
think
fib
so.
again.
And there it is.
So what do you guys think now?
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you guys think the opposite will happen on the fibs?
Is it because of
Because fibs are
institutional?
support and resistance, so price will always reject there. It means it will not be there for a longer period of time. That's the point from where it turns around.
Okay, that's a pretty good explanation. Remember when I tell you guys when you're trading, I'll just remove everything, grab the volume profile again. When you're trading and I say there's a gap protection, they're gonna probably try to protect the little gap. Usually 61.8s and fibs, they're literally on the edges of these if you guys look closely. Just try it on a few charts, you'll see them always around these levels. Because what happens usually at these levels, once you break it, you flush from it, right? And people usually say once you break a key level, you do what? Do you go easy or pretty hard through the level when you're really flushing?
Pretty hard.
Pass.
Pretty hard.
Yeah, you're gonna go with the big candles. So that shows, hey, this level is very important. Look at the, you know, how many candles we had on daily in this little cluster. And once we lost that, that's a big level. So then what happens to the volume when you go through this big level? In one candle. It might not be quick, right? Because these aggressive sellers, they're just slicing it down. They're taking everything they can and they're just going. So the volume is going to be 10 here, but the volume here, you see how this level was respected. It just tells you the importance of the level where the action was, not necessarily where it's going to, how do I explain this? Like just because it broke the level doesn't make it weaker. But if you look at the action before, you see why it was there. Because the protection here, the gap protection is what they're trying to do. And they usually will do this. And they did it today once. They will come right here and they know the liquidity is below and they'll, if they're planning a long trip down, why do you guys think they're doing this right here? Why they keep bouncing it from here? If the plan for them is to go lower, why are they doing this?
To load up their warehouse?
Load it up.
To sell.
Accumulation.
To accumulate, yeah.
Yeah, they're slowly distributing. They're planning on distributing the stock. So if they know this is the range that, you know, retail is happy with, what they will do is they'll get them up here and then they'll sell it. And then, you know, they will drive it down. They will drive it up. And then basically they're liquidating and they're creating liquidity here for themselves. Because remember, they have large orders. They can't get it in a day or two. They need time. And that's exactly what happened here. They gave them a range, and people are like, okay, man, we're going to bounce here. And the retail buys literally right here. And then it reverses. And then the retail does it again. They're afraid to buy. They bounce it again. And retail's like, okay, man, this time it's going to break out because we did it twice. And then they sell it again. So the retail's always here. They're always kind of doing, if they're buying more to sell here, they're always on the bottom. So here, you know, they pretty much had everything, and then they do a last push, very aggressive. They drive the price down. They eat all the demand in this quickly. So not a lot of volume here, but the focus was right on top of it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And now, when you use, let's say, for intraday trading, like today, well, obviously Nvidia had a really nice run. So if I was looking for a bounce first, if I wanted to see where the rejection was most likely to happen in Nvidia, what could I have done? Like today, when this was coming up and it was going down, it looked like it was going to be a trend day, right? You would be looking for what? Swing high or low to high or high to low?
Low to
Low
high.
to high.
Remember, we closed here.
Right.
Go from low to high and then fib extension.
By which levels?
1.618, 1.27.
No, like where do you want me to grab? I'm looking where we're gonna go down. So Arvin, yeah, tell me where we're gonna bounce.
Previous day's
So,
range.
Previous day, like start to end, lowest to high.
Okay. So think about this. Here, it's a really nice swing from here to here, right? So if you grab it from here to here, I'm grabbing a few days right here. I grabbed 2 days worth of data, you know, in this case, low to high, because we're going higher highs, higher lows. And where do we bounce? Did we bounce to 38 too?
Yes.
We did it.
61.
Yeah, there was a 50% the bounce. And then you gather some information. So what does this tell you about this uptrend here? What do these fibs tell you about the uptrend, guys? In this 2-day uptrend, what is it? Is it a strong uptrend or not?
Not as strong.
Not a super strong
point.
uptrend.
This is not
Even
a super
below
strong.
point.
This is not a super strong trend, and you just note that in your head. You know, not the strongest trend, and maybe we can grab more data, right? Even if we go in 30 minutes to grab the recent low. Let's see. Did I do the same? I guess we did it. We grabbed this one then. No, I didn't. So even if I did this on the higher scale, I don't know what would you call this? Did we close? Did we bounce on 38 too or not?
No.
No, this is not a bounce on 38 too. It should not go between the two fibs. So this is indicating overall not the strongest trend. It's not a super trend. If I was to go back, let's say up here, right? There's a nice trend between this and this one, let's say. Is this a super strong trend?
Yeah.
This is super duper strong.
Yeah.
If you add this one, look at this where we bounced. I mean, the highs here, they're literally just never close below it. I don't necessarily use this fib, but it tells you bounce at the closer level of fibs, you're in some major uptrend. If you look at this, let me use this magnet. Look at that. Now you see a little bit the difference. Major uptrend that we are in. We did the same thing now, you know, on the daily for the opposite side. And we didn't get the best kind of data, right? You guys follow or?
Yes.
Can you cover one more time, like when to take from the high to low and when to take from low to high?
Uptrend, swing low to swing high.
Okay. Okay.
You need the other one or you got it?
I got it. I'm sorry.
Okay. So now if we grab the multiples, right? If I'm looking for a rejection, we're not able to to get over this, right? So for me, 61.8, when I'm trading inputs, this is my favorite rejection. Like 61.8 is the best one for me for entering puts when we are looking for puts and rejections like this. 61.8 is usually right on. Pretty nice rejection there. So that's one of my favorite for puts when we're at a down market to continue down. 61.8's pretty good. And if you guys look at SPY on daily, so if I wanted to know to get to this rejection here, if it's a fib, what should I grab?
Should grab the high to the low and try to get the 61.8 level.
And here we go. So it came very close to it. Okay. Came very close to it for a rejection, right? So you probably wouldn't, most traders would not take that one. They wouldn't expect it to be there if you're a fib trader. But that would be the right approach. And then if I wanted to know this rejection here, if I wanted to know this rejection, what should I do? This one. What swing should I grab?
2.8.
Did you guys say something like this?
Yeah.
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 This is good because this is the latest swing high to swing low. So this is a perfect one. And you see here, struggled with what? With 50%, came back twice. Then, the typical behavior, you broke above it. And what do?
Retest.
Come back for retest. Then it came back again. And that's it. And then on the bottom, where did it reject? 50% again. So, 61.8, 51.8 were pretty hit here. If you guys look closely, they were hit hard. And then 38.2, I don't know if you guys noticed, to me, only got decent rejection here and a bounce here. So not as many clear hits maybe, but this level I don't really use much. Okay, so does everybody understand how to find where, when you're in a downtrend, you're looking for puts? So you're looking always swing high to swing low, uptrend low to high, and you can apply that on 1 minute. You can use it if you're using 1 minute for for these, then sure. This one didn't even give you the level today, so let's see if it hit that one. So it kind of went in between. That's why I don't like that level. And then you had another one, right? So if you see this swing high being put in here, You do this. It's not very clean hits. At least not for me. Maybe trading worse is better at this.
We have all the indicators, so pretty much everything will fit.
Only if you give him 100 likes.
No, dude, it's 101. 101 likes.
Okay, this one is interesting. Look how long this one took to figure out. So let's see. Did it bounce? Okay, that one was pretty important levels. Yeah, so that one was good. So you can use that, but I would not go below 5 minutes. That's just me. I would always use 5 minutes. Minimum on. Okay. So what, any other questions on fibs? On retracements at least?
Why do sometimes people use fibs for like an individual candle?
Well,
I've seen people do that.
Well, if the candle is a daily candle, you can definitely do that, right? You can do it, you know, if I look at this candle, I can project it up and down, right? It doesn't really matter. I can go from here to here. And then, you know, majority of the levels are going to be the same. This will give me the levels pretty much off of the one candle. You know, these levels are going to repeat, right? Just because the ratios. And then it projects the targets, right? So usually I have 1272.
Is that good to use for like maybe a swing trade for the next day? And use those levels?
You can, but it's just not enough data, right? You want more data to be in your hands when you're kind of trying to swing. Swinging off of the daily fibs, I personally, daily candle fib, I wouldn't recommend that. Because you need a little bit more data if you're going to swing. One day does not do much to the market. It's a drop in the bucket. But, you know, if I'm looking for a strong confirmation and level, like if I look at this swing, I'd much rather look at this. Like here, now I have 4 days of data versus 1. I don't know, that would just be my preference.
That makes sense. So for swing trading, you use at least 4 to 7 days.
Yeah, you just want whatever the recent swing high and low. Like for instance, you know, this is the daily chart here. If I really wanted to know the rejection of SPY, there's a few levels, right, that you can take. So first, you would have it from this level here. And we are hitting 61.8 fib, kind of struggling to close above it. Then you could use this swing high, right? Oh, never mind. Just drew a channel. So now I have multiple clusters on more data, right? So obviously the bigger the line to the left, the more important fib is, but you wouldn't know if you zoomed in. But you see where the clusters are. There's a lot of clusters here. You have 3 fibs that are right here between 377.93, and that's where we got rejected. And now it's stuck below the 61.8. And you see the range here. Look, you know, 373, 372, good area. If it gets in, you can play it. Anytime there's a little bit more space, it'll fly through it. And these become almost like demand and supply zones. Like right here. The more lines you have, the stronger this is going to act to it.
Okay, I understand now. Thank you.
Yep. So you need more data than, unless I would not swing, but if you're scalping or day trading, yeah, definitely. You could use daily.
Okay.
Yep.
I was wondering what your favorite, I guess your favorite fib for going long would be. Because you said,
As in targets?
Yeah, kind of like, I guess kind of the inverse, like you said, the 618, I believe, is your favorite for shorting. So I was kind of wondering if there was
50%. You're talking for a retracement.
Yes.
Yeah, usually 50% does the trick.
Okay.
Yep. So obviously here you never got it. on this one because you're in a pretty, I guess, strong uptrend. That was, again, here, nothing.
Hey, Shorty.
Yep.
Also, on the day trading during the day, if you're making higher highs and higher lows, if you're in an uptrend or a downtrend, you can look for your flags and use your fibs off of that. The top of the flag to the bottom of the flag, or the bottom to the top.
Yep, exactly. Same thing.
And know your levels as well.
Yep, that's a good approach as
I
well.
learned that from Rockets.
Yep.
Good stuff, man.
Does everybody understand what he was talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So he's just saying if you have like a falling wedge, why is this all white? So if you have a falling wedge or something like this, like a triangle, I was given this trick as well. You can grab, if I wanted to know the extensions, right? If I'm interested in the targets, not retracements, I can find, where this move will give me the extension of the next hit. Basically, I'm trying to figure out this move right here. I want to know where's the replication of it. The 127%, let's say 1272 of this move is right here. Do you guys understand that? Like in terms of math, do you guys understand it? Like it's fairly
No.
simple.
Can you explain that?
Terrible in math.
Okay. If this whole thing right here is the move, that makes it what? It's 1, right? This is the move because that whole move is 1, right?
Yeah.
The length is 1. Let's say the number of dollars here was, let's say, just keep it 1 for simple math, I guess, for folks. If this is $1 move here, and I want to know where the 272 is, 1272 and 1618, what do I have to multiply this 1 by to get there?
1.272.
So would it be like this? Is that correct?
Yes.
Any math guys?
Huh?
Or or ladies? So yeah, you would multiply it by 1.272 because that would be 122.7% of the move. You're looking for the 27.2 add-on. So now if I take this fib here and I just replicate the same exact move, I'm looking for symmetry of the move and I'm looking for the extension. This is where 127% of this move is. The 27 percentile is here and the 1618 is right here. So it didn't really make it high before reversing back and touching this again. And it did break it before and kind of went, I don't know, right below 1. If there's a fib, I'm sure we can find one of the ratios. But the point is, you would just simply multiply this by 272 and 618 and you would get these numbers, 31869. Take that number, multiply it, and it should be right there. Does everybody understand, or I'll lose you? You don't have to remember this at all. I was just trying to simplify how the fibs worked.
I think I understand better. Now I'm seeing them as kind of what you were saying, like extensions of like I guess
Of
like
the one move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically, I'm not interested when I do the extensions, I'm not interested of this retracements as much. I'm positive we're going up and I'm like, okay, well, I'm a buy, if this happened on 30th of September and I'm noticing that it's the bottom or whatever you might know, and you're like, I want to know how far I should buy it and my target will be 376.43. All I have to do is take this number, multiply it by 1272 and you get this number. 376.43 because it's just an extension after this. Does that make sense to everybody, or did I lose half the Discord?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Can you do 3 and 5 minutes after that, please? That way they can see what what I was talking about.
What?
Yeah. It actually made it make more sense for me, like the way you broke it down the last time.
So does somebody want to take like the price right here, which was the 0, and just multiply by the same number and see what you get? So just take 366.5 and multiply by 1.272. What number do you get?
That's what the benefit of the fib is. Tells you. Because that fib line is that range is considered 100%. So whatever range you're going for on the fib is your
That's
100%, which
Exactly.
is basic math already doing it for you, which makes the fib lovely because it's already going, hey,
Measure
in case
move.
you don't want to do the math, here's the for you on a silver platter.
Exactly. That's pretty much the only thing they're doing, guys. And you know how many people are scared of fibs to even look at them? Like I'm telling you.
And the reason why they're fibs is because they're numbers that are commonly repeated within traded. You see them so often that it's become a recognized pattern. Real traders use it, so it's something to pay attention to.
Exactly. And believe it or not, a lot of banks and algorithm writers that coders, they use 6018, the 50, the 127, the 1618. If you do Elliott waves and if you have more than 3 fibs on your Elliott waves, you're doing something wrong. You should not need more than 3 or 4 fibs, max 4. So does everybody understand that? It's a simple concept, guys, to understand the fibs. If you're looking for fib retracements, you only need 38.2, 50, and 61.8. If you're looking for extensions, the move to be replicated, symmetry of the move, then you're just looking for the extensions to find the target. Retracements is how much is the move going to retrace. When you add the extension, you're looking for beyond the move that you just had. And then you just take the 27.2% of the move and you add it to the original move. Now you have the extension. And same on for 1618. And believe it or not, this did not always exist. So what do you guys think the people did, let's say like 50, 60 years ago? They didn't have this.
They had interns.
They did math.
They did basic math.
Pen and paper.
Yeah, they would have to measure, right? Hey,
Pencil and paper and
you
math
take 372. There you go.
To make it even more fun, it wasn't in pennies earlier either.
Yeah, I mean, so now imagine if you have, if you had to draw manually and you had all of these fibs enabled. Somebody asks you to send them fibs for a few charts, and that's like 2 hours. By the time you map every one of them, calculate it, draw it on a chart, oh my God. That's why when I see a lot of fibs on somebody's screen, I don't know if they truly understand the purpose of fibs. They're not supposed to have every ratio on the Fibonacci hit because not all of them have the same strength, and the repeating cycle is not as constant for those fibs.
If you have all of them, one of them will hit though.
Of course, yes. And if you like it 100 times, I will reveal my secret.
I already liked it.
Actually, Shorty, on that note, I was just finishing Pivot Boss. And they were mentioning, like, depending on the type of trader you are, will depend on what your investing plan is. And they were actually mentioning using that on the scale of yearly, weekly, daily, so that you could see the levels of the type of traders that are trading that day. Sorry, out of breath because I ran down the stairs to talk about this because I literally was just reading that in the book. And so you can kind of see institutional trade off the yearly fib lines.
Of course. And why do you guys think that? Why do you think that happens?
Because it's long term.
Yeah,
They're buying time.
Yeah, guys, when an institution buys $150 million or sells $150 million, They don't go out today if they're selling. They don't go out today and go buy back tomorrow. They don't do that. Their positioning has to be, you know, whether it's fundamental research or whatever it might be. They're going to look at the company. They're going to put a plan of purchase, how many they're going to buy. You know, they're going to calculate their capital expenditure. You know, if there's, let's say, any dividends in the company, they're going to calculate that, the cash flow, what is their 5-year cap return, cash over cash return. There's a lot of numbers that you look at before, you know, they decide to put money in a company, guys. There's not just a trader, you know, well, maybe for our lady, what's her, Kathy Woods, I don't think she has any of those. You just don't buy. You know, one day you're selling NVIDIA, you know, 5.5 million shares, and then 2 days later for $7 discount, you're going in with $2.2 billion.
Didn't she buy Tesla before it dumped this week too?
Yeah, she did. For 3 weeks, she's been buying Tesla. She bought 500,000 shares. I think 541,000.
Think she might know something.
Well, I don't know if she knows that, but Elon Musk, so I'm going to have to finance this purchase somehow.
Elon selling her all his shares.
People are able to move the market by one word, man. Unbelievable.
Well, Musk's last sale of his Tesla stock was what, 7 million or whatever? So he's still got like 40 more to go.
Oh, poor guy, man. I don't know how he's going to do it.
I feel for him.
So, Shorty, if we take the bottom up to the top at the 61.8, that should be what we should see a pullback to and potentially a bounce?
Yes, and 61.8 would be the weakest in terms of trend, right? When you're in an uptrend. So if I'm looking for a probable bounce where it should bounce in a normal trend, like, you know, maybe what we experienced the last couple of days or whatever, I would look for 50% to be my level. Because I know it's not going to be 38.2. If it is, and if you notice it like first bounce and you missed it, maybe you try the next bounce and see if 38.2 hits. Because usually you'll have one cycle, you know, consolidate, and then one more cycle during the day. And like if you look at, you know, 5 or 10-minute time frames. So those are the type of cycles you'll have. So you want it to be not the weakest, you know, bounce. But with this crazy market, the way they've been playing is that people buy 50% because they think it's normally going to bounce at that. And then they lose those and they buy it on the last resort. So they're really trying to squeeze every dollar out of every person trying to play. If, you know, you're used to something bouncing at 50% and you're buying at 50% now, and it's going through your level at 50% and you're not adjusting, well, that person keeps losing. It's almost like a casino. You know, you keep betting one color, another one comes nonstop, and you keep betting and nothing ever changes. Then you change the colors and then it does what? It does the opposite. So it's the same with fibs. When you're going an uptrend, I usually look for 50%. If you're a different type of trader, you might use 61.8. It's a risky, high risk, you know, high reward type of play. Is that,
hey, Shorty, could you do it on like the 3 and 5 minute, like he was talking about earlier, to see it like on a smaller time frame?
Yeah. So we just did 5 minutes now, and I would never do it below maybe 5 minutes. I would always look for, you know, minimum 5-minute swings, and usually you won't experience a big difference. Because if you look here, right, you know, this would be my high and this would be my low. Well, that's still my high. That's still my low. It's just a different look of a candle. So usually 5 and 3 minutes will yield the same result. So that's why I prefer 5, because I'll see less candles.
All right, makes sense.
So now if I grab this to here, you know, where you could have expected rejection, you know, the first one, if this was a true downtrend, you would expect the rejection to be somewhere here first at the beginning of the fibs, whether it's 38.2, well, 38.2. Again, I added this. 38.2 would be your first one to look for a rejection. Man, it didn't reject it. So it's telling you that the little bit of a downtrend that we had here out of this triangle is not as strong. And then, you know, you see it going higher. So from here, you know, should have rejected this, but it's breaking your resistances. So it broke the 61.8. Well, when it broke this one, you know, you could have been using something like this to figure out what. If I want to know where it's going to bounce, do I grab from high to low or low to high?
Low to high.
So I need to grab it from the bottom, right? So a lot of you might still be looking for a different type of move, and this one here is fairly aggressive. All right, it didn't even pull back much, and that's how it really acted today on SPY. You know, after we touched the bottom, it just it felt like it flew. I mean, think about this. It went to 370 all the way to 379. That's a pretty good range, guys, for a day.
Yeah, that was nuts.
But I mean, $10 range on the SPY is it's pretty good, man. Usually you will not get that much, guys. It's usually not that much. So if you look here, range was, I would say 377 to 372, and then here it's higher. Typically it's you know, I don't see it being more than 1%. And this is, you know, this is pretty good here. 2.33%. That's pretty crazy. Okay. So any questions on fibs?
I was just going to say, if you take the run up from the recent low to the high, the 50% fib is that 37.78, which is the drop value high or value.
It's which one? I don't know if we lost him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so if you take today's low, I think it was up. Let's see, I don't know. I did this on the screen. It was bringing up. I don't know.
You probably might have grabbed this here, maybe, or from here to here. Do this.
But I've got all the other lines in there from the drop value and everything else. It came up with that 37.78, which has been a key point.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you just have to figure out which way you're trading. You know, if you're looking, this is not a bad, you know, high and low here to see where it's going to reject, right? And I mean, it flew past all of these levels. So, and today's day is really weird. I don't know. I guess whatever they did with option buying, with, you know, setting up a little bit of a delta and buying to occur, but it just didn't look normal today. And yes, Pardog, that's correct. And the reason why I don't want it below 50, because then it's losing a lot of strength. That's my personal indicator whether, you know, it should be or not a flag. But if it stays above 38.2, that's a much stronger flag than it is on 0.5. Because if it's 38.2 and it's taking time to develop, it's gonna look more sideways, the slope, right? To get to that 38.2. If it's a really aggressive, you know, sell-off, it might not look like sideways. It might just go quickly, you know, down like this. It's more aggressive and more sloped. On this side here, it has a slower slope, and then here a little bit more aggressive. So that's why I say that. Mine's 50. Different trader, if he likes more aggressiveness, wants, you know, less reward, then he might use like 38.2. Yep, steady. I can do it probably another day. I don't even have toss turned on yet. We can do maybe another day and do the toss trading. We already have some videos on toss trading, I believe, Drew. I've done a lot of videos with Drew, I believe, on toss when we did the volume profile. So I think he can maybe link it. Maybe Drew's asleep. All right, so any other questions? And then one more thing before I go. On fib channels, if you guys click on fib channels, I have it saved here somewhere right here. I was showing you somebody a trick. I don't know if you consider it a trick, but just instead of having manually to draw channels, if you have any channels here, so let's see. Let's say if I want to draw this, right? And I don't know if you guys have this issue, maybe it's just me. But sometimes I'm like, okay, well, man, where's the parallel line? Like, do I start here? Do I, does it look like this? You could use some math to figure it out, like, geometry, but is this correct? I don't know.
What did you need, boss? Sorry.
No, I was just saying maybe if you can tag the toss indicators when we did the volume profile and toss and charting. I think we had a session on how to use it, right?
Oh boy.
If you can find it. If not, we can do another training. I don't mind.
I can try to look.
Yep. So for me, I struggle sometimes, like maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just me. But anyone else struggle drawing these channels to be like perfect kind of parallel?
Oh, it's annoying
Always.
sometimes.
Yeah, I fight myself. I'm anal with trying to make them straight.
What I do is I duplicate them and then just drag the other one underneath.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. He's talking about just drawing this and then trying to find the parallel, which you could definitely do, right? And you see how off I am on mine. You guys see the slope? It's a little bit off, right? I mean, that little bit can play a bigger role if you're, drawing a daily channel and playing on smaller time frames. Maybe it can be a little bit of bigger variance. So the best way I figured to do this is grab the fib channel, and I'll show you this. If I grab this, I can literally just do this right now, and I have, I did the background or whatnot different. But here I have a perfect fib channel now, and if I click on it, all you need is 0 and 1 because that's your starting and end point. You can add, if you want to trade channels, this is your 61.8, it's your 50, and then on channels, people usually add 78.6. This one, and this one. Where's the 1618, 272? Usually people play these levels on fib channels. And they strictly play fib channels. There's different rules for it. Okay. So any questions on fibs?
I had a question about another indicator, but I didn't want to take up any time.
Okay.
Since it's not related.
What's your indicator?
I've been using dark cloud cover recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wanted to know your opinion on it. If you think it's like a trash indicator or.
Are you talking about Ichimoku or?
I don't think so. I saw it for the first time on TradingView.
Dark clever, like
yes.
this one.
Yeah. So I've used it a few times recently. It's like.
I'm sorry, but what does this tell you right now?
It's just a candlestick pattern.
Yeah, it's like a pattern, a bearish pattern. Usually when they pop up, it indicates like a downward movement coming soon.
Man, if you trusted it here, would this be a good one or a bad one?
That one's not good, no. Pretty terrible, actually.
And this looks pretty. I'm sorry, but this looks like you'll be eaten alive for a little bit.
Okay.
At a $48 stop loss, you'd be okay.
All right,
yeah, I don't. Maybe maybe it's more accurate in 5 minutes. It's not even coming up here.
Yeah,
I mean, here nailed it. Yeah. I wonder what's in it.
Check the chat.
Shorty's like, let me look at the code.
Oh, what is he using?
It's nothing. It's just the previous candle close high low versus the next one. It's just a candlestick pattern.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't be that interested on. And single, what do you guys think? Is a single candle pattern stronger than multiple candles? Which one do you guys think it's
Multiple is definitely better.
Multiple.
Yeah, you usually want, multiple candles to kind of give you a pattern. A lot of people that, go off of like a single weekly, you can get tricked a few times using that. So, I mean, here it worked, these little inverted hammers, they worked here. But there's a lot of times that, you're going to get a lot of fakes on single candles. If you know multiple, candles, again, it's more data, more information being shared with you. It's much stronger. So,
Okay. So yeah, I'll replace fibs with that then.
I don't know because I don't know if you're looking for support and resistance. To me, again, then this is this is what I love is there's no better support and resistance than telling me where's the highest volume traded. If you traded the highest volume there, that's telling me you're in balance there. So there's a resistance once you get out of it. Because once you break a zone, remember, once you're in a zone trading here. So let's see. If this is the zone where most of the action happens, and then you leave this, right? You're going to leave fairly quickly because you're in imbalance. You don't know, where's the next value. Well, if it's here and you have nothing close by, then you're just quickly testing to see it. Then you get a little buyers, sellers, and then they find a zone here, and then they do whatever they do, and then they can test a new area here, or dependent on the plan, whether it's initiative sellers that take it again and then look for another value and sell more, or maybe they're accumulating here and go higher. So when you do this, it's the same thing as fibs. It's just the fibs is using a little bit more quant, right? To figure out ratios. It's statistical versus volume profile. You're just looking, hey, price, this is the highest, this is where the most volume was traded. It was at this price. That tells me you're in balance. That's going to be a resistance moving forward. So you can try to add both if you can, fibs and this, and then you'll see, right? If I'm looking for a rejection, right? I'm looking to see where this might reject, whatever SPY. Well, this is, a pretty good level. So now if I just go from here, let's say to here. Did I grab the wrong thing again? I did. I can see that there's some clusters here. There's volume kind of gap there. And I'm looking at fibs. I would, for my support and resistance levels, I'd prefer to use where the volume is. And that's where the, most likely the rejection is going to happen. But that's just me. I mean, if you prefer fibs and statistical, that's good as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's definitely helpful. Yeah, I'm not using those dark clouds anymore.
Yeah, I would stay away from it.
It looks a little sus, especially when you're showing. Yeah,
What do you think about the 49 EMA?
49 EMA is very powerful.
Thank you.
He's bullshitting.
Yeah, he is. Try to drink some water. Yeah, don't add the 49 EMA, please, guys. I don't use any EMAs. You really don't need them. They're all lagging indicators, so yeah, don't worry about that. Okay, let's look at some levels for tomorrow. So on ES, are we running wild?
Got a triangle.
Well, okay. Well, they're struggling with the 3820 a little bit. Well, it's a new value higher, right? They rejected this one. They came back. They confirmed this value, guys. You see that? So here, what would be the story of agreement, disagreement between buyers and sellers? Anyone? So what's the story here, right? They're in balance here. They got into the range, then they popped, and immediately they said, hey, this is not your range. And then you set it right here. and they traded in this range for a little bit, and then the bulls were like, okay, well, let's, I think there's more value to SPY or ES. Let's push it higher.
They found value there.
Yep, they pushed it higher, and now if I draw this level where they got rejected last time, they came very close to it. So this seems to be the new range top, and now they're inside this range, right? Call it the red line, 311, whatever that level is. They're inside this range and they're holding. They tap this level right here, and it's like, hey, we're confirming, we're good, go higher. So maybe they, from the background of, market wizards, they're basically like, okay, well, there's buyers, there's demand here, they want to buy it. Let's confirm it with the algos, and algos turn on, and they're like, okay, on every one of these pops, we're gonna kind of, let's say, offload or whatever. So they're helping it push up. They're driving whether it's the news or not, but they're offloading if the plan is to offload more at highest levels. They're trying to squeeze every dollar they can. So that's how some of them can play it as well. And remember, not every trade's a big trade. And then, does dark pools show here on the volume? On the volume profile, does the dark pools show up?
No.
No. So what fit, if you guys think about Flip, Flip is really good with the DPs. Like ever since I've known him, Flipper has been using dark pool levels. So he's really good at that, and he uses those as support and resistance, right? Because the dark pool levels, they go to private exchanges. They don't go on normal exchanges that we use. They're almost like private internet for them only, where they can exchange shares. They borrow, they exchange, they can do a lot of magic in the dark pools. There's some regulations, but usually not as many. So how did you notice my mouth moves when I speak?
She's talking about your icon picture.
The lips move.
Oh, the short. I thought she was talking about me for a moment. It's like, what? So now they confirmed that the balance is ready, guys, here. So there's a high chance that they're going to be testing this top 3820. First tap. This would be the third tap here. And we would potentially go higher. And we know, right, from our data that 3848, 3850 might be the level where we reject. Okay, so that's just on SPY right now. So I would the only thing that I would update on it is the PD POC stuff. And mainly to know if we go into any 80% rules.
Shorty, how would you give the traders here an idea of how to use volume profile with dark pool levels? Because I think that's like an idea.
Well, no, it is definitely. I would just use it as a confluence flip. I mean, that's the only thing we can use, right? Because you don't know if the dark pools were a buy or sell.
I know, but the volume profile can confirm that. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and think about it. If there's people selling, that are not going to the dark pools, there could be a dealer, right? Just think of somebody on the sides, like a client's like, hey, I want to buy $150 million worth of AMD. The dealer's like, okay, you can't go on, me and you can't go on Thinkorswim and buy $150 million of NVIDIA. You guys are aware of that, right? Like you cannot, there's rules, and there's stuff you would have to fill out, there's procedure. So that's why the rich people are like, I don't want to deal with the headache, hey, dealer, I'll give you $150 million. I want the shares of AMD.
Look at the data I gave you right now, Shorty. Oh, let me tag you. The dark pool data. after hours. We're fucking smacking, dude. Holy shit. 300 mil. 300 mil. 263. And they're at the bid.
Yeah, not a lot of ask. Oh shit.
Yeah.
So what does that mean, Flip?
Ooh, that looks nice. I like it.
For downside or upside?
If they're throwing that money out just for liquidity grab, then the Bears could grab it and just fucking send that shit down and add a wall on it. Or they can leave it for the Bulls, but I don't think the Bulls want to pick it up there. Because they're paying for they're paying for a premium. If I was a market maker, I wouldn't want to pay for a premium. I want to get that shit for the cheapest.
Yep. So this is pretty much showing, I bet that, you know, there's probably some offloading if this is correct, right? What the intention is correct. There might be some offloading after hours.
But I think they're trying to do. Oh, they're trying to do this. It's a freaking meme that I got sent today.
Yeah, that's good.
No, it's interesting using volume profile, but once
No,
I
I
found
mean,
dark pool strategy, I was like, I don't want to like mess with it. But traders that are getting new into it, they could use volume profile and dark pool levels, dude. And
no, I think you can definitely combine them. I mean, you can't ignore the data in dark pools because that's big money as well, right?
yeah,
And
but
they're not as reactive buyers, but they're more long-term holders, or you know, whatever the position is.
it's interesting how they try to use volume profile as like a gauge. Like, all right, retail's at this level for resistance, or they're buying at this, so let's offload it to them or bait them
Of
towards
course,
that.
I see it.
Because at the beginning of the week, I got puts, and I was like, dude, they're not gonna try to do that. And when you go on the larger time frame, they're like, dude, they're trying to send this higher. That's manipulation to its finest. It's funny.
Yeah. So that's right now. That's the PD value area high on ES, POC, and PD value area low here. And then this was a pretty nice setup here as well today. Once we get in, did anyone catch the whole move 80%?
I caught some of it, but
Yeah.
I was at work at my desk, so it's hard to trade there.
Yeah, no, I understand, but this was a pretty good setup here. Once you reclaimed it, that was pretty sweet.
Are you still in the 360 shorty?
360?
Yeah, puts.
I think we grabbed 3750s. Are you talking about SPY or
No, SPY. You
SPX?
grabbed them, I think, on Monday.
No, I'm for December and November. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still in it. Yeah. 360s and 350s. Yeah, sorry, I thought you were talking about SPX. I'm still in 3750s, so it'll be fun to see. I trimmed some, but not a lot.
Oh wait, what was the 121? I mean the October 21st 160 puts.
160.
Was it Apple?
Yo, Shorty, have you tried confluencing your 30 minutes? Because your 30 minutes hit with like an hour time frame with a 4-hour time frame for VPs.
Well, VPs are more so on the moves rather than timelines, right? So you're looking at decent swings to take it, right? You can grab it on a single candle like that, but
No, because I'm trying to see if it has more weight to it, and then if trying to test it with like a dark pool, like all right, if VP saying that this should reject, the dark pool should confirm it because they're gonna accumulate over time that level.
yeah, if I was gonna compare a dark pool, I would probably use weekly profiles. Meaning I would look at it on the larger swings like this, right? So I would look at this swing here to here, and then I would compare these levels. I'm sorry, not fibs. I would compare these levels from, for instance, right now, if we were to go in here. So I would look at these levels, right? So in this range, there's a high chance, and you can check that. Well, I'm on ES, you wouldn't know this. So in ES, this is the range I'm expecting between 3960 and 4000. There would be probably dark pool levels in this area too. And then on these levels here, there's another shelf. You're probably going to have some dark pools here on the high volume node. And you could confirm these levels. Probably use the same thing as SPY and just practice. See if you can match volume profile to your dark pools. And if you
What
can,
level?
that tells you that they are involved on both sides. Dealers involved to buying, selling, filling that order in a back end somewhere in a warehouse and moving it. So yeah, you could definitely confirm them.
Yeah, dark
If you
pool.
look at your fib from March 20th, 2020 to January of 2022, where the rise started to reverse, 380 is on that fib line for that rise
Oh,
up.
this?
So I'd see that for like this is a prime place for institutions to load up.
Are you talking about this level here or?
The fib would go from March of 2020.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the March.
Yeah,
one.
from that bottom of the dip right there. Yep, all the way to the top.
Oh yeah.
And your 380 level becomes a prime 382 fib level on SPY.
And that would mean what in terms of strength?
Strength for institution as strength for a signal for institutions to load up their calls for the rebound.
Also like a pivot.
Yeah, the pivot.
So you would expect it to go higher?
I would. In the coming like weeks, not like in. It's just a signal, I would say.
Okay.
Well, it initially broke it, so
right. It did break, but I mean, it could be the retest up, or
what Shorty was
or
saying
this is
earlier
where we
is that
start going down.
It invalidates the uptrend. It weakens the trend once it breaks the 382.
Yeah.
You said on that volume profile you had like for ES like 3900 or something. Dark pool has on SPY has 393.71. They're accumulating 1 billion.
So
They're
you have 3954. Remember, there's like 15 points, some difference between SPX and all of us. So probably, you have from here 3945 to about 3997. So about 4,000.
yeah, 375 for SPY is like a big pivot to the downside or to the upside.
Yeah.
Where they like direct price intraday 375.57.
Yeah, we'll check SPY, see where we got it.
The levels I had today was 387.6, 381.6, 375.5, and 369.5. Because it breaks 375, dude. That this thing had to go 369, but it pivot, and that's where volume profile can step in and have you catch that trend.
Yep, I agree. All right, so good on ES.
Yes, sir.
All right,
You have an idea why Qs are 20% cheaper based on premiums than SPY, bro? That's caught my attention since last week. If you try to get the same downward movement or upside movement, let's say $5, you're paying at least 20% less on either side. I'm like, oh, hold the fuck up. What are they trying to show me there?
Well, maybe they're trying to skew you to a different side. Wherever the IV is higher, they're trying to, so you don't buy there.
On the Qs is cheaper to get a $5 move on the upside or downside than it is on SPY. So I'm like, all right. So they're trying to bait people to tell that okay, tech is not as strong, and then they're trying to throw people off, or
Potentially, yeah. If they're trying to spoof and bring you upside so they can offload here again, then why not? If they can get another 200 points, they'll get them.
Well, don't we get a better tax deal with SPY versus SKUs?
Tax? I don't know about tax. I mean, you get the best with SPX, but I wouldn't go into that. I would defer you to your CPA. You can reach out to Dumpster. Right, Dumpster? No. Dumpster went to bed. So 38.2, for instance, on this one here, if you guys look, on NQ is the previous date from here. The whole move here, the 38.2 is here. If they're gonna bounce, they should bounce, here on NQ on the next one. In a smaller time frame, you could grab this right here, but this is the one I'll be looking for right now.
Yeah, the Qs, bro. The Qs. 283, 287. Holy shit. Jesus.
Okay, let's see. It's just funny what they're holding right now, right? You guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
It's hitting previous day value high. So, they're fighting this. Usually when the algo gives signal that they're gonna go over it, usually the first one will be strong enough. If that's the program they're running, right? When you're going strong high, you're just gonna go, you're gonna bounce here. If they're trying to give a different picture, they're trying to manipulate, they can do this, where people think, more touches, it gets weaker and then it goes this. Well, they could trick you here, dip it here a little bit and then proceed higher. It just depends how they're gonna play it. And also depends where the options are and where's the delta.
They did that today when you were on live, when they defended that skinny belly.
Oh, this one here?
I think it was on ES, but I was really impressed by that. You had got that spot on. It was towards the midday session today.
On ES?
Yeah, around 1, right before it ripped to value area high.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Oh, right here, this
Yep,
level,
yep.
787.
Right there, yeah, right.
Yeah, so that level had the skinny belly start, the mini one, because I think we're in a smaller time frame when we were looking at it. Yeah, it had a nice area that they're gonna defend, and yeah, I saw it
I
bounce
was
a
gonna
few
ask you
times.
about that. Like we had the highest volume on that 5-minute pen bar right before it, and that would indicate a lot of selling pressure. Like, why didn't they follow through and they ripped it all the way to the value area high? But it just
Which one are you talking about? Which candle?
the pen bar to the left.
This one or
No,
this
no,
one
no,
here?
that one right there. If you turn on your volume, it'll be the highest of the current session prior, and like that's like a VPA signaling like extreme selling strength. I was just confused on why they wouldn't follow through with that, and they ripped it higher.
So
liquidity pool.
It's the liquid. That's exactly what Flip said. It's the liquidity, right? It's the the selling liquidity here. So they're trying to basically, they know your stop is right here. They know if you're using, let's say, any recognition of patterns, right? If you're using this level here, right? You see this one?
Mm-hmm.
What did every retailer put a line here, right? They put a line and they said, if you break this level, man, my stop loss is gonna be right here.
Mm-hmm.
And they would put it right above it or somewhere, right around the candle or wick, and they just slightly increase it because that's what the book tells you, right? Hey, you buy here, you just put it a little bit above and you're good. Well, you buy, let's say you're waiting here and you want to short here, right? What's the best way to get you out?
I mean, to wick it all like way past, almost near the skinny bellies.
Yeah, basically he gets all the liquidity and then he's, prepping for a down move. Now, if we really wanted to go lower, we gotta break this PD value area high, which matches with the whole concept of where they bought it and where they bounced. So that's, to me, I don't know if it just comes now easier to spot. but this is definitely a liquidity pool. It's not as much selling pressure as much as this is liquidity.
Okay, so it's a bunch of stops just right
It's
there.
literally stops. That's all
Okay.
it is. They're trying to get you out.
Is there, I mean, I'm
Your
sure there's
exit.
not a really a specific way to identify that, but given the context of the price action, you can kind of just
Usually
understand
candles
that.
like this where are hammers, people call them selling pressures, but it's actually that it found liquidity on the top and then it literally sold you back down. So that meant there was a lot of stuff here. There was a lot of supply here. They got it here and the supply, was much more aggressive than the demand on the other side. If people are buying here slowly, well, there was a lot of supply, bring you back down. Remember, the orders on the right were overwhelming the orders on the left. So it literally looked like an elevator coming down on the bid and the ask.
Would you say that your exit is somebody else's entry to that person? I don't know who's asking that question.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh well, not anymore since I've used the volume profiles to determine my stops.
Yeah, because
And I do it right before the penny bellies.
I've been trying to help people out, like with Shorty's idea, with Shorty's strategy, it helps out, but you're getting that extra confirmation, bro. You're gonna fucking print. So yeah, the way I think about it is like, all right, if I was on the other side, I'm gonna get a call, and you're trying to get a put. I'm waiting for you to show your hand so I can gauge the other side because I'm gonna go with the wave. So your entry is my exit, or your exit is my entry from the top side to the downside. So not playing the tops, not playing the bottoms will help you out a lot because you're getting that extra confirmation. Because that 5-minute move to the downside could be the hourly lower lower low on the 1 hour, 4 hour time frame. So it helps out using the VPs that Shorty's showing you to gauge the actual movement. Because then you're playing into the liquidity. You're just adding to the other side's movement.
Okay. Oh, like the bigger picture move is what you're talking about.
Yeah, the bigger
Okay.
picture.
Okay, I see exactly what you're saying here. Yeah.
You could have printed the Bulls. The Bears would have printed money today, and the Bulls would have printed the money today. And you got to be able to have a strategy that can help you switch from bull to bear and bear to bull. If you just bias on one side, then you're gonna look for Twitter. You're gonna look on other Discords. You're gonna look on Instagram to confirm your bias. And you don't want that. You want the VPs that tell you, "I'm going higher," or "I'm going lower," and you just gauge off that. Use your 25% loss, stop loss, or whatever stop loss you use, and send it.
Yep. All right, so on ES we got it. Thank you, we're good. I'm trying to switch these.
It helps out, bro. This VPs, I don't use them, but to other people that don't have a strategy, these things can. Oh my god, bro, you're gonna be swimming in fucking money.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna rip here. Okay, so these levels are updated for me. I mean, obviously the range top here is gonna have to be taken out, and you would probably have to look at some. If you're looking for a rejection here in an uptrend, probably not the best because we are pushing now a little bit higher. So now we need to, if we reject here, we need to break this range and then short, not aggressively short. Let them develop a little bit, let them accumulate here. If they're gonna go to a downside.
So, Shorty, if you're about to enter today? Let's say the market is open. How would you help a trader if they're gonna just pick one side, one trade? What would you suggest them to do or wait for?
Well, most of them should know how to distinguish a volume profile if you're gonna go on a bullish side or a bearish side, right? There's few indicators that we talk about. So PDPOC, if we open above it, right, the sentiment turns a little bit bullish because you're breaking the previous highest volume node. So therefore, you're expecting buyers to be above it because the price is already there. So, and then if it's above the value area high of previous day, that's another indicator, right? That's even confirms a little bit more bias. that the bulls are in a control. And then of course, if the opposite happens, then it's more bearish. So I think, does everybody understand that? That's in your PowerPoint.
Yes.
And if you open above, like we are right now, and then you dip back inside, what does that mean?
80%.
Bearish.
Very
Bearish.
Bearish, and you have 80% chance. Which so far, if you looked at this, only this 80% rule lately from the bottom to the top, just measure the moves you would have caught if you played it per the plan.
Played out today to the bull side.
Yeah, played out today. But I want you to look at the points you would have gathered if you held. You see what I'm saying? Like, just take a look at it. Yeah, you're gonna be, and remember what you say, Drew. You say open one journal for how you would have traded it, and the way you actually traded it. Well, the way you should trade 80% rules is if you buy it on the value area low, like it dipped below today. We talked about it, right? We said if it goes here, there's a high chance we see a rip. And on the bottom, today, at least on ES, there was a nice little triangle. We had one here as well, but maybe not as strong as ES. ES had a really nice triangle on 5 minutes. Yeah, you guys see it here? So it's just a symmetrical triangle, lower highs and higher lows. And I mentioned if we break this, there's a strong chance we go here, reject that area at that time. What was it? 37.60. 2 points below, we broke inside of this. And then you're kind of watching like, well, crap, man. We came from PD value and just literally exploded. And look, it hit every level. So you would have, in this trade alone, you hold it and you're getting 52 points on a trade. And let's say if you traded one contract, does anyone know how much money that is? Let's say ES, large, one ES. Does everybody understand how much that is? Any ideas?
Wouldn't that be 200 pips? So 200 times.
$1 per tick or something.
Yeah. 25.
If 1 point's $50,
25K.
2,500.
$2,500. You would catch on this move in just one contract. And now think about it, people that buy, let's say you buy 10 contracts. This move alone probably pays for your monthly living, right? And a little bit more.
Shorty, you got an ideal level for? I'm trying to help out the group because the group is kind of shy today, I guess. Any ideal levels for the upside continuation, for the downside reversal? Ideal levels that you want for it to break, so you'll be like, all right, bro, I'll get a put with my eyes closed, or I'll get a call with my eyes closed, per se. So they can have probably profit targets there as well if they.
Yeah, but I think I would say, does everybody understand this, where the levels are?
Yes.
I do, yeah.
Yes. You do understand.
Well, so I think majority, if they don't, I think they can speak up. But I would say majority of them are aware of it. For us right now, if you're looking really big levels, meaning like when this hits eyes closed, 39.80 to 4,000, that happens. It's gonna be a lot of supply there. If you're thinking that we are not going to reverse this trend and not going to make any higher highs, well then, we have the VPOG that we talked about, 38.75. This range right here, this whole area right here would be whatever that is. I would call it 3,900 probably right here to 38.75. That's the range for rejection, the first one that we're coming up. Because right now, once we break this level here, 38.20, where do you guys expect us to run?
38, 48, 50, precise level.
There's a really strong chance we're gonna go all the way to 38.48. Even though this value area low is right here, but it's really in a in an awkward spot and a skinny belly. Like I suspect that this one is gonna, hold much weight, but let's see.
I'm just trying to help out the group, maybe help them out with their profit take.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think the levels that we have are, I would say they're pretty accurate, right? I don't know what others feel, but they hit on every dollar. So, and I think people are aware where to take the profits, unless the greediness and the mental side gets in, and I think that's the bigger problem than the technicals, I would say. Would you guys agree? Or I think majority of you guys are getting better at technicals and drawing these, but it's more on your mental side that's stopping you.
Mental side is
The risk
brutal.
management.
Yeah, risk management.
Definitely.
I agree.
So what are you guys struggling with the mental side then? Is it the mental stops or the hard stops?
No, it's mental game of I think it's, well, I don't want to speak for everyone. I'm thinking if you read the Trading in the Zone, you read the first 4 chapters and you're looking behind you and you're like, man, is the guy behind me? Like what's going on? I found myself a lot of times in that book as well, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. If you want to be good in the game, you're going to go through the bad times.
Facts.
And you're not going to, there's not a strategy. There's no magic what you're going to do to be successful until you can drop your ego and accept that you're going to lose in the market, but you want to accept minimal losses and you want to say thank you when you take a small hit instead of hoping for smaller hits. Take a smaller hit and say thank you to the market. Hey, you respected my stop loss. I was able to get out. Minimal loss. The trade didn't go my way. And accept it. Really, really accept that you can lose 5% of that trade or 10, whatever your stop loss is. This is where you should define what is your minimum you'll accept and don't go below it. If you're a really risk taker, what should be your risk? Well, it should be 50% maybe. I don't know. If you like risk, then you add more money, how much you're going to lose. But don't be a gambler. Don't put $1,000 and fucking watch it go to zero. I mean, that's what fucking drug addicts. I'm sorry if there's any in the group, but that's what drug addicts do. That's what people that do shit to get. They're addicted. I'm sorry, but there's no easier thing to get. Like, you guys should not be gambling. You guys need to define your risks. How much are you willing to lose per that day? And if you follow the rules of compounding, you should not lose more than 2 to 3% of your account, and that's a lot. I mean, when you have a big account, that's a lot, right? You have 100 grand, you lose 3%. Well, you took a nice hit.
Hey, Shorty.
So,
you showed that last chart with the value low. On my chart, what I had for today for the value high and low was 38.05 down to 37.78 as the value high and low, because we had a very small range from the prior day.
are you talking about SSL high?
No, I'm talking about the value of what happened on Tuesday. The value that was defined on Tuesday for today's trading.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I adjusted the levels, but the levels were here earlier. This would have been my previous day value area low right here, what I'm pointing at.
I guess what's throwing me off is you got a green line saying PD value when you were talking about the little triangle.
Oh,
it was entering the value range. And
oh no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, it was, it was here, right? No, this is where it occurred. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. This is where it occurred, not here. You're right, because I was looking at this one, and I thought it was a prior there. Yep. No, you're right. Thanks for calling that out.
It was still amazing because it went from the trade I got in SPY for 41 cents. It went all the way up to, if I kept it through that range, up to like $1.49. Eventually,
Were you playing 377s?
Yeah, I did 377s. I bought 10 of them.
Okay, I was debating on buying them at the same level that you bought them.
Wait, Bean, you bought them for 24 cents?
No, they're 40 something. They're 46.
I was gonna try to get them at 37, but then they were jacking the price up, so I picked it up at 41 cents.
Oh,
And they
very
went
good.
to what?
Well, at the end of the value high, they were about $1.49, but at the highest that they went for the day was $2.11.
That's pretty damn sexy. I like it.
What made you not enter or whatever the case may be?
You mean what made me cash out?
Yeah. Oh, what made you like? Oh, you entered or you didn't enter?
No,
Because
yeah,
somebody said that they're
bought 'em.
debating on entering. I don't know who it was.
No, he bought him. He was in it.
Oh, was it you, Shorty, that said you were debating on getting it? What made you not
I
get
was
it?
about because I already made enough money not to get it.
Oh, gotcha. No, because it could help somebody out. Like, okay, maybe they're hesitate. Maybe somebody's like mentality can or charts ideas can help that individual be more decisive on entering or not entering a play.
No,
Just because it is cheap doesn't mean it's price.
yeah, it's gonna work.
Yeah, just because something is cheap doesn't mean it's gonna work. But it worked for him, so he might have an idea or the same level as you. So
Actually,
that mentality can help you out or help another trader out. You get me?
Yeah.
Actually, what I did is I looked at the price of what SPY was for the value high and low, and I said, what's it going to be in the money? And so I picked the one that was the cheapest that would end up in the money in the move.
Well, that's pretty smart. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
did like the same thing, and I also got the 377s for 45, which is pretty crazy. Like
I was looking at them at 46. I'm not even kidding. That's why I knew the price he was talking. I knew what he was talking about. I looked at him and I'm like, I'm not gonna be on the screen because I was in freaking Target for hours.
That's actually a really good idea, Bean, to look at what'll be in the money at the the full move. That's dope. I like that.
Well, actually, you could probably, your risk to reward on that type of move is probably the highest on the one that you pick. Because if it's gonna, go up in value, it's gonna be closest to in the money, and that one is just gonna explode.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So the one that I think we had 375 calls, and we got stopped out. At least I did at like 50 cents or something like that. It was a minimal loss. I just didn't want to take a hit. So they went from 50 cents all the way to like 4.34, which is pretty, from like $60 to $435 for one trade, guys. That's pretty good. You should take your profits.
That's your target. That's your target trip, bro.
I mean, if you're, making 435, let's say dollars on this move from here to here, and that happens what happened in maybe hour and a half, you're making $430. That's a pretty good hourly rate, guys.
Shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, just don't tell the wife you made that, bro, while you're in Target. Like, hey, babe, bro, I lost $400. I ain't got shit.
I don't like going to Target. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that'll be funny if you short Target. It's like, yeah, let's go. I made $400 on Target. I'm shorting the fuck out of this.
All right, guys. Any other questions?
Oh, bro. Well, people learned.
Yep.
I
did like the question about the one trade a day. I'm still trying to get better at that because I seem to want to make multiple trades per day.
So that's the mental side where and why I say the 30 days. Does anyone know why you want to do something for 30 days?
It becomes a habit.
Yeah, it takes time to develop habits, good habits, right? A lot of us can develop bad habits really quickly, right? And I'm sure there's wives here, your husbands, when you first started dating, they probably left everything behind, and they didn't do much cleaning or didn't know what to do for the most part. And then eventually, as your marriage went on, things kind of balanced out, right? Everything works out. If it's normal, everybody's part of it. You just do what you're supposed to do. But it changes, right? So your mental side is really, comes down to what it is for you. If you can develop a habit, a good habit in 30 days, and it takes a day to develop a bad habit because you're doing something that's quick and easy, and it's not good, you're going to continue it because it's quick and easy. And for people that that don't respect their money, and you think that trading and becoming rich is quick and easy, that's where you have to kind of settle with yourself. You're doing this for the long term. You're not gonna become a millionaire in a week and be like, man, I just traded, I'm done, I'm retired. I promise there's no strategy. I don't care who you are. If somebody's giving you that he's gonna grow account from 5K to 150K in 4 weeks, I would click on that, block it, delete it, and don't ever look at it again.
And usually, if you make it that fast, you'll probably lose it that fast.
Yeah, exactly. Right, you're right about that, because you see people, and I bring this up a lot. They win lottery, and then a few years later, you see, oh yeah, the person that won the lottery is bankrupt.
Yep, your head gets inflated.
Bro, Shorty, the Dow has been up the past 5 days, 1,600 points.
Yep. So thank you. So for mental side, one trade a day, you have to limit yourself and look for the best setup. Today when we reclaimed, the value area low on ES, it was the most highest probable setup for you to take the trade. And why is that? Because it's 80% rule. It has 80% chance of being right. So if you did the trade, like we talked about 10 times, 8 times, it would have been right. Meaning it would have gone from value area low to PD value area high. And if you're not as comfy, just take your profits at, as you should at POC and go on with your day. And if you took some contracts, even if somebody has time, just look at the contract you could have grabbed at PD value area low and sell it at POC. I'm pretty sure it would be over 100%. So there's no reason for you to rush and to feel like you have to be in a trade at every moment. No, you just have to let them develop, right? You have to, and a lot of traders it's not easy catching the whole move, and you should not catch the whole move. You should trim on every one of these levels. At least the smart traders will trim at every level. Not, let's say you have 15 contracts and you wait, sell 15 at the bottom, the 15 gains can quickly become losses. But if I sold some, let's say I shorted right here, and I take some on this candle, take some here, take some here, take some here, are they less profits than if I held? Probably, right? And a lot of times you'll see people, man, if I would have held, I would have made 50 grand instead of 5K, or I would have made 5K instead of 400, 500, right? They start thinking about what if, and what if this, right? And if you read the Trading in the Zone book, that's where the gap fills. You're filling your head and trading with the gap fill of knowledge that's really useless.
And if you're not in the right frame of mind, best not to trade that day, man.
Yep. And that's there's those factors: your family, your mood for the day,
Yep.
healthy or sick. Those things matter. And do you go to work every day? Do you go to if you have a job now, do you go to work every day of the year?
Sick days.
Nope.
You guys, yeah, you have vacation, right? Do you guys bring your laptop when you go to vacation so you can finish some work?
No.
Sometimes.
Well, I personally never.
Hell no.
I can't take my work with me, so no.
Well, I know, but I'm a lot of people over the time now are more like virtual.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it's like, okay, so you're telling me to go on vacation, but you want me to work while I'm on the vacation. No, you don't work while you're on vacation. You can also make vacation days for your trading. You can say, hey, every day I will only look at the screen and set the alerts for 30 minutes. And you don't have to stare at it. Like, the more you stare at this, the more inclined you are for taking a trade. If you put levels and alerts, try doing that, right? Don't look at it. Put an alert here. If you break here, warning, you're approaching my buy zone. Let's say this was our buy zone like it was today, the high volume node. You can put an alert here, and then you jump on and you look at the chart. It's like, okay, well, you should have a defined plan what you're going to do. If your plan is to go along, like we are planning here, if this is your entry, and let's say your stop loss is, for us, it would have been somewhere around here if we took that. And you see here, they went right below to the liquidity, and they grabbed it, and phew, they went on. But then it doesn't mean we catch this, right? Because initially this supply is right here, and they fake the supply here to the downside and set up a trap. So now, you're looking at, okay, well, here's your chance. There's an 80% chance here from here to here. So that's the only trade that you should take, right? You look at it like a little bit differently. Like I have only one chance to make money today. It's my job. It's my business. Where would I take the chance? If you start thinking more as a business and strict guidelines and rules and vacations and policies, I think your mental game will change. And a lot of people don't treat this as business. You guys treat it as a hobby. And that's why you're suffering. Because your first job is providing money for your addiction to gamble.
True.
And I'm sorry if that hurts.
Well said.
Yo, Shorty, have you tried using trend lines with your VPs, bro? Because I'm noticing, like, let's say you're using a 5 or 30 minutes, and you draw a trend line on like the 1 hour per se, or the 4 hour, like those time frames.
Yeah, exactly. We use trend lines, triangles. Yeah, we draw it.
Yeah, bro. Because I don't know if people have the patience to look at a 1 hour, 4 hour candle close, because those things are, oh my god, bro. I'm only waiting for 2 candles for the day for the 4 hour. And I'm like, damn, dog. But those candles help out a lot. It just has me just trade at 9:30 or they have 9:30, 11:30, 1:30, and 4 o'clock.
On 4 hour candle?
Yeah, the 4 hour candle. 4 hour candle close at 9:30. The other 4 hour candle close at 1:30, and then the final one at 4.
I'll tell you
But people have that patience to like just look for 2 candles. But that's why I'm trying to help them out with like the 1 hour with the trend line. I don't know if you probably draw a trend line now on your chart on the 1 hour, and then go to the 5 hour. Probably is going to hit your levels still as well.
Yep, I think there's a bigger one that we were looking at earlier, the channel wise. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a megaphone on one of these charts, I think.
Yep, there was one on the bottom that's developing here right now.
Yeah, and a megaphone in the bottom of a trend chart. Pretty powerful.
Yep. I just don't like them at the beginning of the day there. All right. Anyone else got anything? Because I'm gonna go get ready for the trip.
Thank you, Shorty.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Do you
Have a
still
good night.
think we're opening tomorrow, or probably not?
Thank
no?
you.
Appreciate it, Shorty.
Thank you.
Uh,
Happy birthday in
yeah.
advance.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shorty.
Take care. Have a good one.
So let me see, where are we? If we reclaim 38.20 tonight, if we break above it, I would say we're gonna go higher tomorrow.
It looks like we're gonna break above it too, because there's a failed auction there,
Yeah, there's a lot of failed auctions
or
here.
a weak top, or whatever. Like, yeah. So it looks
You
like
know,
the next time we come there, it's just gonna rip through it.
If we do this here and then get back inside, then we're gonna flush. Does everybody understand why we would do this?
Oh, liquidity grab again?
Well, for one, it would be a liquidity grab, but this is our drop, value area low.
Oh, true.
So that would mean you went below that huge balance that we had, right? So if you think about it on bigger time frame, think about it. This is my drop value area low. So this whole thing here on this whole down move, they consider this to be the balance, and they were happy trading. And when I say this, it's usually the algorithms that look at it and they're like, yep, within this range, the volume is 68%. We have our buy and sell coded. And that's why you get the bounces off of those levels, right? Because, the 68.2 divided by 2, 34 and a 1. you find those levels, and even if you take half of this zone here, it'll usually act as some kind of support and resistance because it's 50% of the move.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no, I
Yeah, I
definitely
mean, highly that, if we do reject here, this would be a really, because it would be the acceptance of being outside of the value area. If we reject here, we would confirm that this area is high value area for now.
Okay, that makes sense.
What the time frame is that you have for them? 30 minutes or?
It's like
What-
4 hour
what-
days on right now.
No, the one you use for the rejection. What time frame would you use for that rejection to confirm the actual downside flush?
You probably need to see some, if you're gonna swing, depends. You can use a little bit higher time frame, 65 minutes, a pattern of lower high, lower lows or something like that, or whatever you use for entries.
Yeah.
Or, if you're looking for, you're always gonna get a reaction of these levels. That's how they're built. If you're looking for scalping, then, if you're a 1 minute scalper, like some of us are, then you can use that and just get the quick bucks. But if you're looking for swing trading, then, and further out, then you need higher time frame confirmations, whether it's 4 hours or dailies, just to
I
see
like
the
most
pattern
people.
develop.
Most people's lifestyles are they're always working or whatever. So maybe the swings, the way that you use the VPs can actually help them out. Because imagine if you're in Target and you got that, let's say 377 or 380 calls for Friday instead of SPX for SPY, bro. You'll be.
Yeah, by the time I was at Target, I was up $4,300. So I didn't even.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that shit was.
Care
Oh
for the rest. I was good.
If you work during the day, you can also just trade futures. So.
True. Or bro, oh yeah, bro, you work in the medical field, so you'll be like, "Hey, patient, don't die yet. I got you. Hold on, let me trade this future real quick."
No, I work at night, so.
Oh yeah, so you're good.
All right,
You know,
guys. I'll catch you guys. Have a good night.
Definitely get some sleep.
Bye,
You
guys.
can just work nights and not have any patience and watch this.
That works too. All right, thanks,
Yep.
guys.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Shorty.
Take care, guys.
later.
Thanks, Shorty.